Hey guys, back again. Moving on with the series of INTJ on MBTI bullies. So today I'm going to be talking about ISFJ bullies because I realized I did the other videos and didn't even do the one that was requested, and that was the whole point. So when it comes to ISFJ bullies, I have to say, at least since I've come into the know about MBTI, I don't know if I feel that I've been bullied by an ISFJ. So I have to use a little imagination based on some, things that I've seen and also traits that I know generally belong to ISFJs. Once again, this is a generalization. I've also done one on my type. Everyone has a propensity to be a bully, and this is just talking about type specific bullies. So once again, this is not to out anyone specifically. So yeah, even I have to use generalizations when it comes to this one, especially because when you think of ISFJ, you definitely think about this sweet, nice person that's very selfless. Mother Teresa was an ISFJ, and it might even be a little disconcerting. But when I think about the types of careers that ISFJs are drawn to, for example, nursing and teaching, I definitely see the availability there for bullying because everyone, this is going back to what I've talked to in prior episodes of this little mini series. Everyone uses violence to both let off steam and also to get things that they want. So passive aggressiveness is a type of violence, and when it comes to ISFJs, them in particular, I would think they solely use passive aggressiveness if they are to be bullies. And when I think about the careers that they usually have, which is careers which they help people, um, I think we can all look back and think of either an ISFJ or an ESFJ nurse or doctor or teacher, or other caregiver or care provider that, seem to have a lot on their shoulders. So, in particular, I would think the way that they would be bullies is passive aggressive. So, it's never going to be a direct attack. It's always going to be an attack that you feel, and not an attack that is like super direct, where you're like, okay, this was an insult, for example. um, and I think when you think about them, I would think it comes from these sort of things within their cognitive function. So for example, they utilize extroverted feeling and introverted thinking. Now, a good thing about extroverted feeling is that there's a joy and a pleasure that you get if you use these functions in helping others. Uh, they help others to a fault, whether they like the person or not. Like them helping you is separate from how they actually personally feel about you. They're able to differentiate that. Um, the negative comes a little bit in the introverted thinking because it also encourages a type of sneakiness. Because from my understanding of introverted thinking, it's kind of like, what can I get away with that can benefit me? So this could be cheating, for example. This could be, you know, manipulating a social group to their benefit, or creating a type of indirect guilt on someone because of something that they've done for them. And I noticed that ISFJs in general will have an integrity about themselves, so they won't go out of their way to be like, "Oh, I did this for you, therefore you do this to me." That's more of like an ENFJ thing, but an ISFJ thing might be kind of like they help you, right? But perhaps you're being ostracized in a general social group that you're part of with them, for example, and you don't know why, and it's because they're very good at wielding social power. Um, they're not the person in the group that's going to come off as the leader, but they're um, kind of like a force that's always there. Like for example, I imagine ISFJs in as just a general trope in movies to be kind of like the best friend, for example, in the sense that the best friend's there, knows everything, is interconnected to all the subgroups and interweavings of a social group. but they're not necessarily the one that's like the spokesperson for a group or the spokesperson for a situation, but they're definitely interconnected to everything. And maintaining that social power is, and I don't think they look at it as so much as social power. They look at it, but what it becomes is that is a power for them. Likewise, for other people, like being organized may be a power for them, or being the one to initiate things, like if you're an ESTP, or being the risk taker if you're an ENTJ. Maintaining a proper social power and social order for an ISFJ is a way that they're able to manipulate and navigate the world, because people like them, you know, and people wouldn't suspect them of doing things that are shady or underhanded. And a lot of that comes from frustrations from how selflessly they give. But that's the thing, though. It's like everything appears, things appear to be selfless, but there's a kind of counterbalance for that. Um, because if you're not reciprocating for them, there will come a point that they will cut you off. And you will be cut off. You're gonna get that extroverted feeler door slam of you're no longer allowed here in my space. And being that it's very easy to become um, relying on an ISFJ, that's going to have a supreme effect on you. Like, if an ISFJ cuts you from their life after being a big part of their life, you're going to be like, holy shit, I am assed out. I'm assed out. Like, that wouldn't be fun. I wouldn't want to lose any of the ISFJs in my life. You know what I mean? And I think that in general, you know, when we talk about bullies, we're talking about people who are exhibiting um, uh, unhealthy behaviors within their type and within their personhood. So it's not something that's like the standard or the go-to for ones that you meet, but the ones that are unhealthy can create an environment where you're extremely codependent on them, and they can wield that to their wield it to your detriment, and you know, to their advantage. So that's my general overview of ISFJ bullies. Once again, I'm super generalizing because I don't really have, you know, I generally get along with them, and yeah, so it's hard for me to 100% imagine, but I could lend myself to imagination thinking about past teachers I have where they used to do really passive aggressive things, like tell me nice things to my face, but then give me a low grade, um, without telling me that that low grade is coming. Because on average, they're going to avoid that direct conflict. They're going to avoid using an aggressive or assertive voice to a fault. Like, you're not going to get out of them, and they're extremely uncomfortable with conflict. So it's like you're not going to have that standoff. Like, if you try to have the standoff with the ISFJ, you're going to end up melting. You're going to end up being like, you know what, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, their personalities don't lend themselves to direct conflict. So that's just a couple of insights that I have about ISFJs, and particularly if they are to be bullies, or if you've ever met an ISFJ bully. I'm trying to do this thing at the end where I open things up. So have you ever encountered an ISFJ bully? How did you deal with them? And what was unique in their personality as bullies than, for example, an extrovert bully that you may have come in contact with? And let's share ideas about that. All right, bunnies, until next time. Bye.